Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Abigail Seaver. I am a naturopathic doctor specializing in the treatment of digestive disorders, hormone imbalance, and inflammatory conditions. And I am very pleased to be here today with Nichole Moorman, who is a licensed clinical social worker with a busy counseling practice. And she also offers another unique treatment and training that I'd like to share with you. And so she's going to talk a little bit about that. So Nichole, can you tell us about this program, which is called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction?
Yes, so mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR, is sometimes referred to, because it's a mouthful to say mindfulness-based stress reduction. But so it originated, it's a course. It's an 8-week course in integrating mindfulness into day-to-day life. So it's just a really straightforward way if you're curious about mindfulness and are a beginner, it's a really great way to just jump in and start to learn about how mindfulness can have a positive impact on your life, help to reduce stress. And then also for folks who are maybe more seasoned, have already been practicing mindfulness or some kind of awareness or personal development practice and maybe already have some capacity and use mindfulness in their life. It can then, in that case, MBSR can be a great way to just dive in a little deeper over the period of that 8 weeks. So for more like capacity development, developing more mastery with bringing even more mindfulness into your life. So it originated out of the University of Massachusetts Medical Center's Center for Mindfulness about 40 years ago. Jon Kabat-Zinn decided to take some of his experiences with yoga and meditation and make this training and these techniques available to patients of the medical center. And specifically, he started talking with his colleagues who were doctors who had patients who were certainly benefiting from the medical interventions, but still weren't quite where they wanted to be with like functioning and quality of life with just the medical interventions alone. So his original idea was to see if some of the mindfulness practices could help people to move just a little or a lot, I think in many cases, further along in their recovery. And so that's how he started, and he started doing research on how people benefited from the class, if people benefited from the class early on. And so at this point, it's evidence-based, as in there's research to support that the course, the 8-week course, does really help people to improve quality of life, people with medical conditions, anxiety. There's mindfulness-based stress reduction for depression relapse prevention. So, and there's a lot of other ways that mindfulness is being brought into healthcare right now. They're not all necessarily mindfulness-based stress reduction, but MBSR is specifically that 8-week course.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds wonderful. And so how are you teaching this course? Tell us a little bit about the structure of the course. Is it live? Is it online? How are you doing it?
Yeah, so the last 3 years I've offered it in person in Montrose, but with COVID, I'm transitioning to offering it online this year. So it'll be online, it'll still be weekly. The class is 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how many people are in the class. And then about halfway through the course, just past halfway through the course, we also do a day-long class that runs on a Saturday. So that's another big part of the class. And there's an invitation to do quite a bit of home practice with practicing meditation at home between the weekly class meetings. So you're asked to, when you sign up for the class, you're asked to think about how you might set aside like 30 to 60 minutes a day to do the home practices, which is some meditation practices that are guided. Plus there's some homework sheets. There's a workbook that's included with the course. So there's some homework sheets that you can fill out as a part of the home practice as well.
Okay. So it really is a deep dive into this practice with a lot of time to implement it on your own, or a lot of
Yes.
homework, I should say.
Yeah, to implement it on your own and then having the support of the class. I think that accountability and having the class to come back to is a really big piece. And it's also, it's experiential learning. So it's very much about, in some ways, there's a lot of repetition. You kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. Not to say that it's all, I mean, there's themes each week and different education pieces that we talk about as well. But we're also practicing different kinds of mindfulness practices over and over again. And then in the class, we have the opportunity to talk about people's experiences and then kind of go back into practicing again. And then, of course, with the home practices, you're practicing at home in the midst of your day, in your home, with whatever goes on there. And then you're also having an opportunity to do some reflections on that practice kind of internally too. And that's experiential learning. You know, you do it, you have some way of reflecting or slowing down and looking back on it, and then you do it again. You practice again. So it's very much experiential learning, which I think is really important with mindfulness, because it's great to read about mindfulness or to just get little tidbits here and there and appreciate the idea of it. And I think there's some benefit there, but really like the comprehensive, full, like cumulative benefits of mindfulness really do come in from some kind of consistent or sustained practice.
That makes a lot of sense. So Nichole, what types of people do you think about when you think about who would really benefit the most from this type of class, or who would get a lot out of this class? What type of person are you thinking about?
Yeah, so the course is made to be kind of a diverse group of people who are coming to the class for all different reasons around stress. So, you know, it originally was developed for people with medical conditions exacerbated by stress, but then there's a lot of diversity there. So whether it's chronic pain or cardiovascular issues or being in recovery from like a cardiovascular event, digestive and respiratory, some of those chronic conditions can be exacerbated by stress. And then certainly some forms of like anxiety, like I said, depression, relapse prevention. It's not recommended if folks are like in the midst of a major depressive episode, but more as a relapse prevention once you've been able to get out of the episode. I think also folks who are maybe going through a life transition or having some extra support around being able to slow down and take care of yourself and make some meaning from your situation. So examples would be like post-surgery or after like a major medical diagnosis that you're adjusting to. Could be something like starting a new job or becoming a new parent, or just any point in the parenting process. Could be helpful to beef up on mindfulness tools. Retirement, empty nest. I know I've had folks kind of in that position who've decided to join the course. So life transitions, I think, are another opportunity to consider doing something like MBSR.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the outcomes that you see at the end of the class? So what are your students telling you as far as what they're experiencing towards the end of the class? Or have you gotten feedback from students after they complete the class? What are they experiencing?
Yeah, I mean, I think to put it simply, people are experiencing being able to handle their stress better. That could be feeling more comfortable in their bodies. It could be more feelings of self-worth or confidence. It could be better relationships, whether that's being able to accept relationships as they are more fully, or improving communication, or being able to make healthier relationship choices. So those are all kind of just trying to sum up what folks have reported at the end of the course. I think often people are really surprised too. It's a group, and a lot of times people aren't used to being in groups and doing this kind of stuff, where we're slowing down and talking about what we're experiencing. And another big piece of feedback often is that people are surprised by how many other people in the room are maybe having similar experiences, and being able to learn from each other too.
That's wonderful. So I'm so excited that this is available, and I'm so excited to offer it to my patients as well. So can you tell everyone how they could sign up for this program?
Yeah, so my website, brainbellyheart.com. So brain like in your head, belly like where you digest food, and heart like in your chest.com. There's a classes page there, and so that lists all my free and scheduled classes coming up. There's a free or like information section about the mindfulness-based stress reduction class that I have scheduled for January 7th from 5:30 to 6:30. That will also be online. So I really encourage anyone who's interested to register for that. And then certainly you can just directly register for the class on the website also. Or folks can also, if they're reading about the class or they're listening to this and they're thinking, ooh, I'm kind of interested, either attending the information session, and I'll do a recording of that too, and or scheduling a free consultation with me, which you can also do via my website, to learn a little, so I could learn a little more about your individual situation and let you know if it seems like a good fit and answer any questions. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Nichole, for telling us about this class and for offering the class. I think it is going to be a valuable resource for many of you. So we'll say goodbye, and thank you so much.
thank you so much, Abigail.